Alright, what's going on, guys? So, I came across something pretty interesting the other day on Twitter. I saw a lot of people talking about it. It definitely gained some traction. I even quoted it myself, but something about this tweet just wasn't adding up to me. It just didn't make a lot of sense. So, I thought I would do a little bit more research into the subject and see what's going on, and then bring you guys a video, see what you guys think about it. So, I did my research, and now here we are. So a couple days ago, Khalifa came out and disclosed the total amount of money that she made during her time as, let's just say, actress. If you know what I mean. You guys probably already know who she is. I'll put some pictures up on the screen. You guys saw her in the thumbnail, but I'm sure she looks familiar, right? You guys have probably seen some of her work before. She is retired now, of course, but a few years ago, she was at the top of the game, number one in the world in her field. I was never a big fan of her work, I would say. I don't know, man, just not for me, not in my personal top 10. But that being said, a lot of other people out there in the world really enjoyed her content. So you would think, based off all that, this was a pretty lucrative career that she chose, right? Apparently, this was not the case, because she revealed on Twitter during this interview that she was promoting or whatever, that during her entire time in the industry, she only managed to make $12,000 total. And because of doing this as a career, she then had a pretty hard time finding any real jobs after she quit. I don't really understand what the point of this interview was. I guess like trying to make people feel bad for her or something, give her some sympathy. I'm not really sure, but that number just didn't make a lot of sense to me. You can make more than $12,000 just from working at McDonald's, right? So I did some research, actual research. All right, I mean that unironically, okay, both hands on the keyboard. But it turns out she was only in the industry for 3 months. So I don't want to say she was lying, but it's a bit misleading to leave that part out, right? Because, when you hear $12,000, like, damn, you only made $12,000 in a year. Like, that's below minimum wage. That's really bad. But $12,000 in 3 months, that's not too bad. That's looking all right. Still, I felt like that was on the low end, right? I was like, you know what? They gotta be making more than that, $4,000 a month. Like, I feel like they're doing better than that, right? So I did a little bit of further research on the situation. Once again, both hands on the keyboard. And this time I found out, it turns out that she did a total of 27 scenes, okay? So now we're gonna have a little math lesson, okay? We're gonna get a little education going. So doing a little basic math here, we take $12,000 divided by 27 scenes. That equals a total of $444 per scene. But hold up, we're not done. We got to get a little bit more detailed. Some of these scenes were what you would call a double meat special, okay? Extra sausage up in there. So you got to add a couple extra to this number of 27. So let's just, bring it out to an even 30, right? So let's do this calculation again. This time we're going to take $12,000 divided by 30 dicks. We come out to about $400 per D. That's the formula right there to find out the dollars per D ratio. This is some educational shit right now, man. I'm teaching y'all more than they do at school, okay? Everybody just listen up, all right? Because we're going to have to do one final step, okay? Let's go ahead and find out the total dollars per inch of D, right? So first, we take the 30 Ds and we multiply that by, let's say, an average of, 8 inches per D, right? Honestly, I don't know, man. I felt like she took her, fair share of foot long. So let's go ahead and bump that average up to 9, okay? Why not? 9 inches. So we take the 9 inches and we multiply that by the 30 Ds. That equals 270 inches of D. So now using that 270 inches, we divide that into the original $12,000, and that would give us a rate of about $44 per inch of D. Now, like I said, I'm not an expert, but that seems low on the dollars per inch of D chart, okay? So now that we have all the numbers laid out in front of us, we really can take this opportunity to just take all of that in, think about it, analyze it, do some comparisons. I looked online, I looked around a little bit, see what people are saying. The general consensus, it seems, that the average scene for a female, at least, because actually females do get paid more than the males in this industry, hashtag men too. I'd like to see some equality out there, but that's for a separate video. But the average payment per scene was anywhere from about $800 to $1,000. That's just average, right? So if you're super popular, or you just doing some wild shit that no one wants to do, that's a high demand video, stuff like that, that's when the real money starts coming in, right? That's when you really start getting paid. But the interesting part about this is, not only was I able to find this information online, Mia herself even confirmed this number on Twitter. She tweeted herself that it's about 1K per video. So let's just do a little bit of math here, because this just ain't adding up to me, right? So if you admit that it's 1K per video, and you're also admitting that you only made $12,000, well, that would mean that you only filmed 12 videos. But the problem is, you have way more than 12 videos. Trust me. Anyone is welcome to, go count them up if you would like to. It's not some hidden information, but we can all easily see that you have done more than 12 videos. So something is just not adding up with this information, all right? The math is not making any sense. Your number of 12,000 is not looking very good. But furthermore, if you actually look at some of the comments of her original tweet talking about this, you will see that a lot of her fellow co-workers actually responded to this, and they're saying that maybe she just had a bad experience, and that's not how the payment really is. That's not their personal experience. I'm not saying she's lying, but this ain't adding up. Let's just say that. Maybe she's just trying to mislead people to get sympathy or whatever. I don't really understand what the whole purpose of this was, but the main point I'd like to point out with all of this is, she then kind of goes on to say, like, oh, not only did I not get paid very well for my time in the industry, I also couldn't get a job after I was done, right? It was extremely hard for me. Yeah, I'm not buying that. That also doesn't make a lot of sense to me. She has 3 million followers on Twitter, 17 million followers on Instagram. I mean, that's your job right there. I mean, if you can't turn 17 million Instagram followers into a job, you suck at life. She has a Twitch channel with 400,000 followers, YouTube channel with 750,000 subscribers. You have plenty of options for a job. I mean, you even got to do a show with Gilbert Arenas. Like, so don't just stop it with this, oh my god, it was so hard for me to find a job. Like, don't do that, man. We're not stupid. All of these opportunities were brought to you because of your 3-month period in the industry. You know what I mean? Like, this didn't just magically appear. Where were you before this? You had 7 Instagram followers. Now you got 17 million. This would be like Kim K saying, guys, I just can't find a normal job these days. Like, I don't know what to do. Ever since I dropped that tape on the hub with Ray J, I just can't get a normal job, guys. Like, what do? I don't know. Like, come on, man. Like, do you think we're stupid? Like, yeah, maybe you can't get a, quote unquote regular job as like a librarian at an elementary school or something, but you've opened so many other different opportunities up for yourself because of this. Like, so, don't try to sit here and pretend you're some victim or whatever is going on. Like, I don't know what's going on. All I want to say is that these numbers are not adding up. Maybe I'm missing something. I don't know. Did I do the math incorrectly? I'm not sure. I might have got distracted, with all the D or something. But as far as I can tell, man, these numbers ain't adding up. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like, rating if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're not already. Follow me on Twitter. Links in the description down below. Other than that, have a good day and peace out.
can never ever find the right words, and there's no way this is real life. There's no telling you're the right girl, so I can only say that it feels right. It feels right, it feels right. Yeah, I can only say that it feels right.